right, and we are up and we are running. We are live, and today is Sunday, I am told, the 9th of August, and we are here. Welcome to Kicking It with Koz.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, Scott Stafford is a new listener. Thank you, Scott. He's listening from Alaska. How about that?
Nice. Welcome, everybody. I'm happy to see you, and I hope you're happy to see us. Another beautiful day in paradise, right?
Absolutely. You know, I thought we were out of the woods. I know better. I know better living in Texas that we're never out of the woods as far as hot temperatures go, because we were down into the 80s it was the upper 80s, but mostly the lower 90s all last week. Mm-hmm. And Mother Nature changed her mind. This whole the last half of this last week was it started to get warmer and warmer and warmer, and I think we've hit the 100-degree mark.
Yikes!
I think we hit it Friday, and Saturday. I'm not sure about today though. I know it was 102 when I got out to my car when I left work on Thursday.
Wow, hot. You can keep it. We actually had.
It's
cool
not
weather.
horrible. It's not horrible as long as you know. If you have the means to get out of the heat, it's good.
Yes.
But I feel bad for those guys, especially those dudes that did the roof on my house, and then the gutter guys that did my gutters. It wasn't a cool day when they were working on that stuff. So I'm feeding them like iced tea and water and stuff. So
yeah, no kidding. Just
so they don't fall out.
Well, D-Max said they had 100-degree weather.
Wow, dude, and he's I think was he in Oregon?
He's actually Washington State, but we didn't have 100-degree weather here.
That's so bad. What's worse is if it's hot heat is fine, but when it's humid and hot, ugh, that just sucks the life right out of you.
I know.
But I was working inside all this weekend for that exact reason. I was going to say hi to all of our Twitch. We're on Twitch now, so I was going to say hi to all of our Twitch people over there, but there doesn't seem to be any video.
Well, I happen to know everything is on.
Yeah, I mean it says we're broadcasting, but I just don't see anything.
Okay.
Oh, excellent, D-Max. D-Max says he's visiting Colorado.
Oh, that explains it. Oof.
I do like Colorado.
Colorado's not bad. Not back there. Hello, Tyler. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Hello, Stephen. Everybody. It's good to see everyone. I'm glad you're here. Oh, so you don't ask. Our guest had to reschedule, so we do not have a guest today. We are on our own.
You're stuck with us.
You're stuck with us. Deal with it.
Yeah, we were going to have Allison Purifoy from Roses Unread was going to join us, but she had to reschedule. Something came up. So, yeah, we'll just get her rescheduled, and she'll be back some other Sunday or another day.
Yeah,
I really like Roses Unread. If you haven't heard them, they were the when Owl was playing his little intro music. That was Rapture.
Yes, it was Rapture.
But yeah, we got I think Red Lake turned me on to them. They're a Memphis/Mississippi band. And I guess he's got some personal connection with them. We've had them on the show before, a good couple of times. Once was just to have them. The second time I think was because they released one of their albums. I think it was called Vultures.
Yeah.
And they just came out. They released a video for their EP, and that just came out a couple of weeks ago. And that band has been making the rounds on the little talk show circuit. Trying to promote their new video and their band and stuff. And it's got to be hard for bands nowadays. I mean, because everyone's pretty much prevented from you can't perform in closed-in venues. There are at least here there's outdoor venues, and there's like the Fort Worth Symphony is doing outdoor shows and things like that. But these bands that normally play bars and clubs and stuff like that are it's like they're out of work, man.
Yeah, they are.
Gives them a lot of time to write. So maybe after this Rona is all gone, which I predict is going to be around November 3rd.
Yeah, right.
We might start getting a whole bunch of really good albums coming out.
We were just talking about all the interesting things that are going on that are subtle, maybe you don't hear about until you inquire about something. I was looking into a concealed weapons license. Or not license, for a concealed weapons, I should say. I have a concealed weapons license. Normally with a concealed weapons license in the state of Washington, as long as you have the state of Washington concealed weapons license, you do not have to apply for a background check. Well, apparently, the governor snuck in an executive order stating that until a state of emergency is done, anybody, even if you have a concealed weapons license, has to do a background check. And the background check will take 20 to 40 days because right now the county has over 1 million applications.
That's a big backlog.
Yeah, and it's because of the way that they do it is very old and archaic. When I put in my concealed weapons license, they did a background check, so it makes no sense. And I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But apparently, when no one was looking, he snuck in with some of the other emergency stuff and got it pushed through until the state of emergency has been rescinded.
So Jasmine asked a question. This is totally not related to what you're talking about. She said, "Did you see the Save the Children rally in Savannah, Georgia?"
No, I did not.
I did not either. Tyler calls it the election infection. That's funny.
What was that about, Jasmine? If you can give a quick explanation, because I'm not going to. I try not to go and look on the internet while I'm doing a show.
I can do it.
You can do it. Okay, you can do it. But no, that was. I mean, my wife and I are getting conceal and carry. My wife, since they're talking, she's not going to be going back to work till January. She wants to have a concealed weapons when she goes on her morning walks. She does with a friend. The two of them go on a power walk as their exercise. And she thought, well, she'd go ahead and get a concealed weapon. Well, lo and behold, all of a sudden she can't get one. Not overnight, like she's supposed to be able to. Tell you what, elections have consequences, people. Think about who you're electing. Make sure you know what they're truly about.
This almost makes me thankful that I don't watch broadcast television. I don't listen to the radio. Whenever I'm driving or whatever, I've got whatever's on my playlist playing. So I don't get inundated with political ads for not just presidential people, but even the local people. I don't care.
Yeah.
I like who I like. I don't like who I don't like, and a commercial's not going to sway me one way or another. But they're just annoying. Mm-hmm. I don't care who they're for.
So that's the elections. People, you need make sure to participate. And yes, Ari, I understand what you're saying with protests in Seattle. It's understandably why. No, it's not. Okay, because to get a concealed weapons license means you have had to have planned to get it. Because it takes 30 days to get a concealed weapons license. Because they do a full background check.
See, for our license to carry, you have to have your background. They recommend, you don't have to, but they do recommend that you have your background and your fingerprints, all that stuff done before you even go to your concealed weapons class.
And see
that way it's like a matter of a day.
Yeah, with us, when you show up, they take you, they fingerprint you in a officer of the court, meaning a policeman, has to fingerprint you. And hello, Holly, good to see you. They have to, at that point, verify who you are as you put in for the request. Then it takes 30 to 45 days to have the background check run, and then you get your license, and it's good for 5 years. And to sit there and say, well, now not only do you have not only does you have to get a background check, but it's the same background check that I've already gone through, and I have to pay for this one also. So, watch out who you're electing. This governor slipped it in. People have been getting surprised, and a lot of people are getting upset about it. Stephen, here, DD Form 214 means nothing to them. To them, if you're military, they tend to even look at you more because they think that every one of us has PTSD. So,
oh, you were in the Army? You must be broke.
Exactly. So that's unfortunately what's going on. But I put in for a concealed weapons license, or I should say, I've had a concealed weapons license for quite a while, and it's upsetting because I paid for that specifically so I wouldn't have to pay for a background check after background check after background check. It meant all I had to do was show up and show this card, and that should be the end of it. And the governor slipped this in during the state emergency. So, Town asked why I don't have a weapon as a veteran. People said they feel safe with me around since the police don't patrol or community are often. Maybe Ari, that's up to you. If you feel safe having a weapon, if you don't feel that you should have a weapon, then don't. If you feel like you should, then do. Don't let other people sway you. That's the nice part about being in America is we have the right to choose. But yeah, think about what's coming up. Remember, everything has consequences, especially this. I'm really. It should be interesting. That's all.
Yeah, and just don't get swayed by political ads and speeches and whatnot. You can. I'm a big fan of watch the behavior of people.
Exactly.
The way that our leadership, and I say that in air quotes, how they react to what's going on, and really importantly, how they react and how they communicate. It tells you a lot more than any campaign speech or commercial will ever tell you.
Yeah. So keep your eyes open and think about it, okay? And like I said, nobody I know knew about this change, and I know a bunch of people have concealed weapons licenses, and nobody knew about it.
So what? You walked into the gun store or wherever you went to go purchase your firearm?
Yeah, I was going to get it at the exchange, and I was out, and the guy said no, because even though we are federal, we have to abide by state laws, and the state has now mandated that anybody and everybody who comes through, even if they have a concealed weapons license, has to go through a background check.
But why does it? I mean, I understand that the system is. It's just a NICS check, man. It's not like a complete background check.
I agree, but
it's just a cursory check if you have any hits.
I agree.
It take 30 days.
But the reason it takes so long is because they've got a backlog. Right in my state or my county alone, the uptick right now is, they said they've got over a million in our county to process. They've got 1 million backlog, and it's been consistent since March. That's how bad it's been. So people are buying guns, and that's one thing that's not getting reported on.
People are trying to buy guns.
Yeah. Well, now here's another thing. We were talking about ammo. Okay, you've heard that there's a shortage on ammo for 45s and 9 mils. Okay, there's a shortage on all ammo, and there's a reason. The casings are made by like the ore that makes them, melted down by specific companies. Those companies were closed. for COVID. Federally, or no, not federally, state closed in the states they were in. And apparently they were in liberal states. They closed them so that you can't even get casings for your bullets. And that's the reason there's starting to be an ammo shortage. And they said, even if like today, they said, okay, everything is opened up, everybody can go back to work. It will take 2 months for them to get the manufacturer or the company that melts down the ore hot, or the furnace is hot enough and ready to be able to even start the melting process.
See, I'm looking at let's look at like Amazon. That's the second time I called them Amazon. Academy Sports. I mean, they have small quantity. They have large quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Buy a box of 200 rounds. You can buy a box of 1,000 rounds.
It's not that we don't have a lot of storage, but there are certain calibers that you can't get right now, and that's the reason. And eventually, depending on how long this goes on and how many people buy guns, it's going to get worse. And it has been suggested this is one way of taking away our guns, by simply taking away the ammo.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Academy website just on Winchester 9mm.
Yeah.
A 500 round value pack, 115 grain 9mm full metal jacket, $104.99. Good price. It's about 20 cents a round or so. Out of stock.
Yeah. 9mm and 45.
It's just weird. It kind of comes and goes, man. Because I just bought 2 boxes of 500 and it showed up it was a couple weeks ago. It took about 10 days to get.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you just got to check back.
This is what's going on. I mean, I didn't know, but they said that they can't even melt down used casings right now. They can't melt down anything because the places that melt them down have been shut down and told that they're not going to be allowed to open up until the state that they're in is out of the emergency.
I got I did the rounds that I did buy. They are not brass. They are metal casing.
Does not surprise me. So that's what's going on. These are things that are not getting reported. People are hiding this. Weapons upticks.
Or you have to actively search. You have to actively search for the stories.
Yes. Weapons are buying weapons right now. They said there's a 500% uptick in almost every state, even in the liberal ones. Yeah, maybe we need to return to medieval days and use swords. Right, Ari.
Yeah, D-Max just set out the Twyla. Some of you folks that have been around for a while, she went by the name Fur Bikini. Okay. Big veteran supporter. She's married to a disabled veteran. She passed away.
Well,
the other day. I saw it. I came across it yesterday. I came across that news yesterday. But I'm sad to hear that.
Yes. It sounds to me, guys. With Twyla passing away, I'm sad to hear it. But guys, it sounds to me like we really need to start watching our states. And have you noticed Biden still hasn't announced who is his running mate?
He doesn't know. He hasn't been told who it is yet.
There's been talk that they're trying to cancel the debates.
It has been floated, not necessarily by the Biden camp, but by some journalists. Mm-hmm. We ought to just not have the debates or have virtual debates or something like that. I'm like, no.
Well, I look at it this way. They can do what they did with Bernie and Biden. Put them in on a stage no audience, and make them debate 6 feet away from each other.
I mean, hell, if they can play baseball games with no fans in the stands,
Mm-hmm.
we can put some cardboard cutouts in the audience chairs.
I don't see why not. Of course, you heard about what was it? Major League Baseball has now said that they are allowing kneeling for Black Lives Matter.
I think I'm through with sports until this little soap opera is over with.
You and me both.
And don't get me wrong, I like sports. I like watching sports. I love watching baseball. I love watching football. I don't like the drama. I'm there to watch a game be played.
Exactly.
I don't want to see anything else.
And that's kind of the way I look at it. This, sports is supposed to be entertainment. It's not about who, it's not about making a statement. It's not about using your so-called political power. It's about entertaining and showing what you are made of. Great, fine.
They're dancing monkeys. They're paid to play a game.
Exactly.
And we pay that, and we buy the jerseys and we buy all the sports swag and whatnot. There's a lot of folks that are just done. They're done.
Sports is kind of killing itself. They're shooting themselves in the foot trying to be politically correct. They've never tried to be politically correct before, and all of a sudden they think they need to. And they're going to lose people. Because the people that watch them are the people who don't want to be reminded about political correctness. Not the politically correct don't watch sports. Unless of course you're talking cricket or or Quidditch.
Oh gosh, funny. What's funny? You mentioned that. I found a site and it has a remake of Harry Potter, but instead of wands, they have guns.
Really?
And someone replaced their wands with guns, and it's magical. It is the full length movie, but all of these little wizards in training have guns instead of wands. It's crudely done, but it's done well enough where you get the point.
Yeah,
and it's funny. It's actually really funny.
Normally we try to stay out of the whole political arena, but we're getting close to that time, people. It is to that point where people need to really research who they're voting for. Because
and if you don't know, if you're on the fence, then something's wrong.
Yeah. I agree.
Now, if you're on the fence, if you're choosing between like President Trump or like Joe Jorgensen, that I can understand. But I think don't we have vice presidential candidate libertarian?
Yes, we do. Hold on, I've got that right here.
His name, he's got a cool name. He's like Spike something or other.
Candidate Spike Cohen.
Yeah, Spike Cohen.
That's this Monday.
That's tomorrow.
So
that'll be awesome.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. We need to start. We need to remember this is an important time for us. I mean, you've got Antifa is admittedly now being run by a declared communist who says he hates the United States and wants to see it burn. Okay? There are groups out there of children. They are barely old enough to drink, who are being influenced by these punks who know nothing about communism. If they tried to pull some of the crap they're pulling right now, they'd be killed if they were in a communist country. And they don't get that. I always laugh when Bernie sits there and talks about how he's a communist. No, Bernie likes the idea of communism.
Socialism.
And socialism. Thing is, nobody would elect him as a communist or a socialist because he doesn't really know how to be a full one of either. And anybody who took over as a socialist or communist leader would have him killed because he'd be an opponent of the government. He'd be an adversary. Anybody.
He just barked off something. He wants to have a windfall tax, a 60% windfall tax on billionaires.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. He wants to support those who live like him. Live with his mother till he's 40. He didn't even work. He didn't get a job till he was 40 years old. That's who he's trying to support. He's trying to support people. He's trying to help people like his mother out who put up with his crap. D-Max, thanks for the information. Twyla died in her sleep.
She was young, too. Super young.
Yeah. So, no. Bernie, I mean, you have to think. Ari, no. Not all billionaires do. Some of them do. Most of them will tell you that they're going, yeah, I do. But the minute you close the door, they're like, who the hell are they kidding? Got to remember, they're saying whatever it is they have to say on the cameras so you won't go against their corporations.
Well, the thing is, you got to, when you have that much money, you got to play both sides of the fence.
Oh, you do, because if one side wins that you weren't with, there's a good chance they're going to go against you. They play both sides. They've got to. What they truly believe and what they say are two completely different things, and they've got to do that. There are very few billionaires who tell you straight up what they believe. And they don't dare, because you may actually hold it against them and try to, at that point, boycott them. And they don't want that. They want to be liked. It's a whole PR thing. And that's sad.
I didn't think that we had that many billionaires in the United States, but there's quite a bit of them.
Uh-huh. There's quite a few billionaires in the world.
I don't care about the world, but as far as the United States goes,
yeah,
California's got 165 billionaires. New York State has 118 billionaires, with Michael Bloomberg topping the list. Florida's got 58 billionaires. Stefan's on that list. Texas has 56. Connecticut has 17. Illinois has 17. Massachusetts has 17. Washington State has 12. Owl's on this list. Jeff Bezos is topping on that one. Georgia's got 12. Nevada's got 11. So you do the math.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there who do have the money. The problem is, nobody appreciates the fact that they work their asses off to get that money.
I think the frustration with these billionaires is the fact that they run businesses and they rely on subsidies from the government. So it's not like they're taking. I mean, there's always risk involved.
Oh, yes.
If you do take a subsidy and you're unsuccessful, then that kind of adds to your track record. If you have a long track record of being unsuccessful, then you're not going to be getting any funding.
No.
So yeah, I guess they could get rid of or curtail at least some of the subsidies that the government's handing out. I understand, for like in my business, we make aircraft for the military, and it's in a research and development field, so that takes an incredible amount of financial capital and human capital in order to do that.
Yes,
you pay your engineers, and it costs a lot of money. So there is, I mean, my company is putting in most of the money, but yes, we are getting funding from the defense, from the Department of Defense, in order to do this research, to provide them, new helicopters and whatnot.
Heath, I'm still working on my first billion. Exactly.
Right. Me too. Me too. I think we all are.
Anyway,
That is such an, and I say this not as a bad thing. It's such it's an obscene amount of money. That's just imagine having $1 million.
Yeah.
$1 billion. That's
I
just
agree.
crazy.
It is
But
crazy.
with all these people like Bezos and whatnot, they I don't know if they have any concept of how much money they have, and things don't matter because they can get anything they want. But again, they're employing a bunch of people. They're providing places for other folks to have jobs. There's a lot going on there. It's not as plain as, look, they got $1 billion. We need to tax the shit out of them.
Yeah.
I think you'll see a lot of people move their businesses possibly, or they've got what they came for. Close up shop.
Yeah. And that's the threat, as a lot of them are saying, you know what? If this happens, we leave the country. And a lot of people sit there and go, oh, no, they wouldn't do that. Oh, yes, they would. They look out for their money. I don't know. That's what's going on right now with politics. Be careful with it, everybody. Really research the people who you're trying to elect. That's all I can say. So, have you finally figured out, or have you finally figured a vacation at all?
Actually, no, but I did think about it.
Okay.
In lieu of a vacation, which I am taking time off over Christmas, and that's good enough for me. I am going to re-pick up a hobby. I am a guitarist. I used to be a very avid guitarist and a good one.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 guitars and a ukulele. I haven't picked them up in years, lots of years. I mean, I pick it up and I'll noodle around with it for a little bit, and then I'll just put it down. And I might pick up my guitar and dust it off, and it goes right back in the holder, or back in the case or something.
Okay.
So I pledged it to myself to pick it back up, and to incentivize my desire to practice. I went and bought a new. It's an amp. It's not a sampling amp. It's if you look it up online, it's the Spark. It's got every guitar tone that you would ever want. Rather than buying all these pedals, it has them already pre-programmed into this amp. So you can, if you want to have your guitar sound like Boston's guitar does in the Boston songs, then you click the Boston button.
Wow.
And your guitar sounds like that.
Nice.
Sound like Nirvana, it sounds like that. If you want it to sound like Jimmy Page in Led Zeppelin, then yeah, it'll sound like that. So that, and it's got it's online tutorials where they give you lessons and stuff. I'm a play by ear guy.
Yeah.
I've never taken lessons before. I can pick out how to play a song just by listening to it. Nice. And I picked up the guitar. I think I was stationed in Korea, and then got involved in a band called Thunder Run, and we ended up playing the clubs around Camp Humphreys.
Nice.
Outside the gate.
Very
nice.
And
that was fun. And then some people PCS'd, and we kind of broke up. With a couple of us guys got around, made up a new band, and then we auditioned for the U.S. Army Soldier Show. And we ended up getting in. So we were all of us were stop lost in Korea because it was during the first Gulf War.
Yeah.
So our units, we were we had already been there over a year. so we got permissive TDY, and then we got to tour with the United States Army Soldier Show around the whole Korean Peninsula.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. We got these really gaudy like sweatsuits that we had to walk around in because we didn't wear uniforms every day.
Yeah.
But we had to wear these super stupid looking track. It was like they were tracksuits, and they were pretty gay looking. But hey, we didn't have to get up and go to work and do PT and all that other crap. We sat around. We lived in hotels and post billeting and drove around the entire country of South Korea playing shows. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Sounds like it.
But ever since I came back, I all of my gear just sits in the corner and collects dust, and I don't want to get rid of it. I got my youngest daughter into playing the ukulele, and because I'm a supportive father, I bought a ukulele and I learned how to play it. But then I just kind of lost interest in it, and I put it back in the case, and it's been sitting in the closet. Wow. So I pledged to myself that I'm going to pick it back up, and I'm going to make an effort to practice every day and get better.
Okay, well that
maybe at some point I'll take lessons.
Yeah.
So because I probably have a lot of super bad habits.
But that's okay. I mean, that's something. And Tina, as far as where, there's no one site that's unbiased. You kind of have to just read more than one site on one person.
Oh, to get news on political candidates?
Yeah, to find out about political candidates.
Yeah, find one or two stories and get them from multiple sources. And read the story from multiple sources and see where the differences are and find out where the facts lie.
Exactly. And once you start reading, you can kind of tell, you'll pick up certain trends about that person, and that's what you can kind of pull from stories. Anyway, well, I'm glad that you're taking up, you're going to do that. You need to do something for you. And that's what I've been trying to encourage everybody to kind of do.
Something other than the normal. I need to break out of this rut.
Yeah.
Not that doing radio is a rut, but all I do is I work. I come home. When I'm at home, I'm either sleeping or I'm working on my house.
Yes.
And then on Sundays I do radio. So yeah, it is kind of a rut.
Kind of.
And I need to add something in there.
And it needs to be something that you enjoy. Something that will bring a smile to your face.
Yeah, Timmy Wells, Stairway to Heaven is a band song. You don't want to bust out Stairway to Heaven inside of the guitar store.
But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're doing that. Remember, I mean, you guys hear me talk about going on vacation. Even 3 days can be a vacation if you let it be. Do something that makes you smile. Do something that helps you relax and helps you kind of get rid of all the crap that going to work or going to all those all those doctor appointments or everything else. Do something that helps you drop it, to not think about it, to
it like it's hot.
Yeah,
so,
like it's hot. Do things that make you smile, and that's the most important thing. This week we got where I'm at. We got a relief. Today's the hottest day in like four or 5 days. It actually
awesome. How hot did it get?
It got
in the
up
Pacific Northwest.
It got up to 85.
Oh my gosh! How do you survive?
But that's the funny part. Okay, before those 4 or 5 days, we were in the hundreds. But it dropped down. One day it was 99. The next day it was 75.
That is, oh gosh.
Yeah.
That's pretty extreme. I mean, people. It's like at my parents' place. They live up in Wisconsin. And if it gets too hot, I mean, it's like some houses up there, and even where my kids lived up in Montana, there's houses up there that are built that don't have air conditioning.
Yeah. And mine doesn't have AC. I have 2 portable air conditioning units. You put the exhaust out the window, and That's how I get my AC. Because we don't, I mean, we get summer to where it's uncomfortable for maybe a month, if that. Scott says where he's at, they haven't. We haven't even touched 80 degrees this year.
Who said that, Stefan?
No, Scott Stafford.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. So,
That's well. He's Alaska, so
yeah, I mean, so you have to think about that kind of thing, and it's like, okay, this year we didn't have much of a summer, and I'm fine with that. I mean, it right now today it's 88, and they're talking it's going to start going back down in temperatures again. They're looking at 70s and 80s.
gosh, I'd kill for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't even get that cool here at night. I'm dying. Oh man, I could imagine being up in Alaska.
Oh,
that would be just beautiful.
I would
beautiful,
live there.
Very favorable weather. Okay, last year, I mean, we do have a couple of listeners up there in Alaska.
Yeah.
Actually, I think our. Never mind. I'm not going to give that information out.
No.
But anyway, last year, I think it was last year. There was it got so hot in certain areas, like the road was buckling.
Yeah. Yeah. Alaska, I wanted to live there until, that's where I thought I'd retire. But then I became medically disabled and retired, and I can't live in Alaska because they have a lot of weather change. And that's what gives me my pain. So that's the last place I wanted to go.
You need to go to like Vegas or.
They have weather change. Any place that has weather change. If you have clouds,
that's like any place on the planet's going to have weather change.
But it's
San
how
Diego.
much.
San Diego stays pretty current.
But it's how much. And believe it or not, San Diego has a lot of clouds that go through. Those clouds put pressure down on someone like me, and it's like someone jabbing ice picks in your neck and in your back and in your joints. It is what it is, but that's okay. I knew the weather had changed. I mean, literally, had 99-degree weather. That evening, all of a sudden, I have pain in my hips and my back, and in the middle of the night, it started raining.
So it sounds like it has more to do with barometric pressure than weather per se.
Well, I call it weather because when weather changes, it brings in the clouds that cause the barometric pressure.
I've got an uncle of mine. He used to live and work in Cleveland, Ohio, or Avon Lake, which is a suburb.
Yeah.
He developed some health issues. He was in a helicopter accident, and then he just wasn't quite recovering.
Yeah.
Correctly. So they moved him to, they moved him. He moved his family to Scottsdale, Arizona, and he stays there, and it's great. Says it's awesome there because the weather changes aren't as extreme as they are.
Yeah.
In the upper Midwest.
Well, Tina, Hawaii, I go there for vacation. I've gone there for vacations, and they get a lot of weather change or a lot of barometric pressure. Trust me. I've looked at a lot.
Hawaii seems to me that it would be a beautiful place to visit. I don't know if I would like to live there.
It
would be. I mean, it's like paradise, but you kind of get sick. I mean, it seems to me that one would get sick of being, landlocked. You're there. You can't go for a long drive. You can.
Yeah.
It's like a big circle.
It is, and the other part of it is it's when I say it's expensive, I mean it's really expensive. It can get up to $9 to $10 for a gallon of milk.
Yeah, things are a little bit more expensive there. So Scott Stafford says he's been stationed at JBLM because he remembers the days of no AC.
Yeah. In fact, Joint Base Lewis McCord, they actually have swamp coolers. I had never seen a swamp cooler until we did a radio
award thing in the Phoenix area,
Yeah.
and all the houses there have swamp coolers on top of their roofs.
Yeah. Well, they actually have swamp coolers at Joint
They're,
Base. I saw that.
I- they're efficient.
Hmm. But you have to be careful with them because they can end up with mold.
Yep.
You have to be very, very careful with them. No, it's it. I'm going to be going on vacation soon. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm going to take my RV in to get the last bit of repairs done before we go on the road. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to head over to Whidbey Island, over the roads. Hopefully, I won't have a breakdown.
So that they had swamp coolers at Huachuca.
Yeah.
The only times I've been to Fort Huachuca a number of times, but it was always for field problems, or we did what do they call it? They called it roving sands. I don't know what they call it now, but we stayed in freaking tents at the commercial airport off base there, and we came back into. We came on the base. Everybody came in once a day for like showers and stuff, and then we got to go bowling on base every Friday. So we did they called it rocka bowling or something like that, where they turn the lights off.
Oh, okay.
They play the music real loud and huck these bowling balls down the lane. It was like a 45-day field problem. So I actually ended up buying a freaking bowling ball. That was the only thing that I had. That was the only recreation that we had.
Oh, jeez.
If we weren't flying, if we weren't doing missions, we were resting.
Yeah.
'Cause we're supporting DEA out there. So it was a real deal. But if there was nothing to do, you're sleeping or you're getting ready for the next wave.
Steven, disco bowling. Some do disco bowling. Some do rock bowling. Some do. They always end up with a disco ball and black lights.
Yeah, pretty much. And loud music and Frito pies.
Yeah.
That's what I spent my money on there was bowling games and Frito pies. Oh, we actually we had one weekend where we went. Everyone got on a bus and we went down to Tucson, and we got to see the birdcage hotel and all that stuff down in all that stuff in Tucson. I got to meet Emmett Kelly Jr., which was really cool.
Yeah, Steven said at least you didn't end up in the off-post bars. Those neat places.
Oh, we just got a message from Spike Cohen. How you doing, Spike? Looking forward to hearing you on the show tomorrow.
That was cool. Awesome. I didn't see that.
I never got wrapped up in the JRTC or the NTC rotations. I always went on the. I always ended up going on the cool trips where you're actually doing stuff.
Well, I always went out as a medic, so I always had something to do.
Yeah, but you're there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You're there for a reason. It's not like, of course, training is good. Training is good, but from all the guys from my unit that went to NTC, they're like, this is just the same crap that we did 4 years ago.
Yeah.
JRTC is the same way.
But that's what we train for, is so we know our jobs, so that we can do them wherever we got to do them, and we're proficient. Right?
Yes, Stephen Tombstone. Did I say Tucson? I maybe I missed.
Yeah, you said Tucson.
I said Tombstone. Okay.
You said Tucson.
No, I didn't mean Tucson. I meant Tombstone.
Okay.
Tombstone. Like movie.
Oh, what a fun day.
And we got to wear civilians. That was awesome. Fun times, man. Fun times.
Sounds like it.
I'm just thinking back at that, man. I had to borrow clothes.
Really?
To wear civilians to go to Tombstone, yeah. I borrowed like a sweatshirt from one dude and a pair of sweatpants from another guy, and I had sneakers with me because we did do PT. Yeah, I think we all pretty much look like bums out there.
NCT sucked a civilian advisor because we had to stay in Barstow. Drive an hour to the base. Yikes.
Yeah, but there's a bar in Barstow. You can actually go out and have a cold one at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true. An hour drive isn't fun, though.
We had a friend of ours who he was in our unit, but his family lived in El Paso, and he was on a flight. We legitimately had to go to El Paso for parts. So a Blackhawk left, flew to El Paso. This dude, he's a Mexican fella. He contacted his mom and says, "Mom, you need to make some tamales." And so she ended up for a couple days before. Mm-hmm. She was making tamales, and when they landed on base, his mom met him and gave him this a couple of those big aluminum turkey-sized things full of tamales, and he ended up coming back and fed everybody tamales. It was great.
Oh, nice.
We were there for 45 days, man. So it was
the more I listen to you, the more I sit there and go, you really don't know what field is, do you?
Well, no, it was field. I mean, shit, we slept in tents.
Oh no, tents.
Terrible. It was terrible.
And I thought medics had it good. Jeez. Guys would envy the fact we had latrines. You guys had everything.
Well, the thing is, I was in an aviation unit, and usually aviation units kind of they get over on a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We have those ASM 189 vans, which are extremely air conditioned.
And the fact that you have a bunch of warrant officers around.
Oh yeah, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a warrant officer.
So therefore, you got away with shit.
Yeah, or the warrant would say, no, I need this person, or I need this group of people. Gets you out of all kinds of stuff. I remember we had a lieutenant, Socorro McGee. She was a Huey pilot, and she was just cool as hell. A bunch of warrants. Most of the pilots were warrants. Our commander was a major, and he was also a pilot. So yeah, but the thing is, they understand what we do, and they let us do what our job is. There's not a whole lot of BS. There's more important things to do. Things probably have changed since then.
I doubt it. Come on, warrants are warrants are warrants. They're that in between where nobody can touch them. That will never change.
Or they've been in so long they just don't care.
Exactly. Well, we are at the top of the hour.
Ah, bless it.
All right, everybody. We are at the top of the hour. We're going to take a 10-minute break. When you come back, we will be talking about anywhere from Florida Man stories, lots of Florida Man stories. Anywhere from, let's see, driver doing donuts in Miami Beach only weeks ago stopped for a DUI, to deputies arrest woman accused in deadly shooting at Burger King when order takes too long.
Oh, she has a patience issue.
You think?
What else was I reading? Something about a puma?
Yes, there is a puma involved. There are all sorts of stories, so stick around. Mr. Koz, do you have anything you want to say to everybody before you go and have some dinner?
Not really. I'm just wondering, because after I bought that amp, but I dropped a link to it in the chat. A lot of the bad reviews aren't because of the function of the item, but some of the shipping time.
Oh.
So I ordered it yesterday, which was the 8th. So I guess we're going to count the days and see how long it takes for me to receive this item.
All right. Well, Mr. Koz, you have a good rest of your week. Everybody,
you do the same, man.
Everybody stick around. We will be back in 10 minutes. We will get to our silly stories. Try to enjoy the music. Go smoke them if you got them. Go to the bathroom and be back in 10 shots.
Yeah.
Before coffee on a Tuesday, it's It's already been a bad week. My girls had a couple flats, and my dishwasher sprung a leak. From the kitchen, her complaining, you know it just ain't cute anymore. I get the itch, and starts drifting towards the great outdoors. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. In my garage, I got rods up on the wall. I got a giant boat in the yard under a faded camo tarp. I need a reset to my spot. I hear the call. Just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. Junk mail don't come out there, my phone won't ring. The only thing I want to hear is my reel with a big one on the string. That large mouth don't talk at all, and my weight just sinks away. Set him free, bring him home. The one decision I gotta make. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. In my garage, I got rods up on the wall. I got a giant boat in the yard under a faded camo tarp. I need a reset to my spot. I hear the call. Just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. I got my tackle box in the front seat and my best friend in the bed. Don't come looking for me, 'cause I ain't coming home till long after that sunset. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. I got the rods in my garage down on the wall. Threw my giant boat in the truck, filled my camo cooler up. I hit the reset, hit my spot, and heeded that call. Just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. No, I ain't gone missing, I've just gone fishing. Let her know that I ain't gone.
Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
All right, everybody. We are back. Hold on. There we go. We are... All right, everybody. We are back. We're up and we are running. It is time for the second half of Kicking It with Koz. I am Owl. I am your host for the second hour while Mr. Koz goes and stuffs his face. Welcome, welcome, and it's good to see everybody. I hope you got done what you needed to, gone to the bathroom, popped your popcorn, and let's settle in and let's have a nice second hour. We are going to be talking about silly things, fun things, and just things in general. If you're anything you're interested in talking about, throw it out there, and who knows, maybe, just maybe, I'll bring it up and we'll talk about it. I'm going to have an impromptu 10-minute alternative. I'm not even sure it's going to take 10 minutes, but got to thinking about it, and a lot of people have heard me talk about that 5.5 years ago I was not doing well. In fact, I was told that I probably wouldn't make it, and that's a very true story. My doctors had said, well, you are in very bad shape, you are not doing good, your immune system's gone. Next time you catch anything, you're going to end up in the hospital and you're probably going to end up dying. Well, I didn't really like that. And I knew I had to do something. And I ended up making a decision to figure out something. I didn't know what, but I knew I had to. And this is what I figured out. I ended up getting on low-dose naltrexone. Now, some of you have heard me talk about it before. Low-dose naltrexone, the list that you see before you, is what it has been known to help. And that's just what it's been known to help. It helps other things, but these are documented cases. What it does is it gives you your immune system back. When you go to sleep, you take it before you go to bed, and it doesn't knock you out, doesn't put you to sleep. But once you go to sleep, it actually gets your endorphin receptors to release the chemical sequence that tells your body to heal itself rather than attack itself. So your immune system actually starts to build back. It actually starts to repair your body rather than harm your body. I've been on this medicine for 5.5 years. It's compounded. Naltrexone is normally at 50 milligrams or higher, and it's known as an anti-narcotic. You get on this, it's anywhere from 1.5 milligrams to 6 milligrams, and it's basically labeled as nothing. There's no real side effects. All it does is it works in your sleep to get your body to heal itself. You know that sleep you used to get when you were a kid, where you'd wake up refreshed and feeling good? I actually get that again. I do have pain. I do wake up in pain sometimes, but I still feel refreshed. I still feel like I slept. That's what this does. To get it, a lot of times you have to go to like a natural path. Sometimes doctors will write a prescription for it. Federal doctors are not allowed to. How much does it cost? Well, tell you what, there's a compounding pharmacy in Boulder, Colorado, that if you send them your prescription, including shipping costs, the total comes to $30 a month. That's it. That is not a bad cost, and that's not a bad deal. I'm bringing it up because a lot of people are home right now, and so therefore they don't have to worry about being in contact with people, catching flu, colds, getting hurt as much. But the minute you go out and have contact with people again, you're reminded if you have an immune system or not. My immune system used to be very, very, very horrible. I would get a cold, and within 2 days it would turn itself into pneumonia because the crap from the cold would go down the back of my throat and get into my lungs, and I couldn't stop it. It's a horrible feeling when you can't do something for yourself. I was being told that I was one of the worst cases that my doctor had. They were talking doing infusion therapy, IV infusion with medicine, plus my shots, plus all my other medication. I've cut down all my a lot of my medicines now. I never had to do infusion. I still take a shot, and then I'm on an anti-inflammatory, and that's it. Exactly, Stephen, and that's the thing. If you have an immune system problem, and then you know if you do, well, maybe you know, some doctors don't tell you, but if you get sick easily, you catch other people's colds easily, you can't fight off infections, things of that nature, you need to ask your doctor, do I have an immune system problem? And if he says you do, you need to think about getting on something like I just showed you. And I'm not joking. I got on this day before Thanksgiving. I woke up Thanksgiving morning at 2 o'clock in the morning crying because it's the first time. At that point, it was the first time in over 20 years that I had less pain. And this was the reason. It helped me that much. Okay? It makes a difference. Being preventative is what I'm trying to talk about. Doing things to help yourself is what I talk about. And I talk about alternatives because Western medicine, I will not say it's a horrible thing because there are good medicines out there and there are good doctors out there. But there are also a lot of bad medicines and there are some bad doctors out there. Doctors who would rather just throw pills at you than try to help you. This is my way of saying there are alternatives. I've talked about chiropractic. I've talked about myofascial release. Now I'm talking about low-dose naltrexone. I'm not a doctor by any means. But I'm telling you my experience. When a doctor looks at you and says, next time you catch something, you're probably going to die. That's not a fun feeling. Not one I would not want any of you to ever have to hear. There's ways to keep that from getting that bad. Mind you, I was in constant pain. I was constantly struggling with things like being able to breathe. Being able to move because I was I was always hurting. I was back to where I wasn't sleeping very well. All that. And I took one pill. And I woke up the next morning in disbelief. It literally, and I mean this, it took me 3 days to believe that this medicine was going to keep working. When I say that, I mean it. I went to Thanksgiving, to a Thanksgiving family get-together, And I felt like I was in shock because I felt better. Something I had not had in 20 years. I felt better. I actually slept. That was so weird. That's the type of thing I talk about. The things that will help you before it gets that bad. If you have the problems that show up here, and there's more. Okay, these are the ones that they list, but there are more that this works with. Okay, I have 3 or 4 of those problems. This will help you. If your immune system is like almost gone and you're catching everything, tell you what, my immune system was gone to the point where it took 4.5 years before my immune system, after being on this, fully has come back to where this summer I got a bug bite and I didn't have to take an antihistamine for it to go away. This is the first year I could do that. I told my wife when it happened, it's like, I'm going to try this. I put a little bug bite ointment on it, a topical, and it actually went away. I haven't had that ability to do that since the 90s. I have an immune system again. And it's because I'm on low-dose naltrexone. Now, I do take other things, and I'm the first one to say I do take other medication. Or I should say I do take other vitamins. Okay? That is, I do take other immune boosters. But those were not working. Those were not standing up until I got on the low-dose naltrexone. That's what I'm trying to help you with, is to realize that there's a lot of things out there. If you start working on things now, you won't get as bad as I got. Now think about this. My problems, I was medically retired at the age of 28. I was put on chemotherapy medicines for my problems, for my arthritis. That destroys your immune system slowly to where it won't come back. It normally would not come back. A lot of things were getting destroyed because of this. I now have an immune system that can fight off bug bites. I'm in awe of that. I haven't had that since I was around 30 years old. And I'm 57 now. These are the type of things, we all talk about being disabled, or I was put out of the military and I've got medical issues. We all think, well, they aren't going to affect us till we get old. Mine started affecting me right then and there. I started having immune system problems back then. They just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And you don't even realize it until it gets to the point where a doctor sits down and says, next time you catch a cold, you're dead. You don't want to get to that point. Those things that you see on this list, you know the kind of medications they have to put you on to fight this? The arthritis. All the medications that fight arthritis, the stronger, not just, even the anti-inflammatories can destroy your liver and kidneys. But then you start talking about the other medicines. You've heard of Enbrel, Humira, Symphony. Those are chemos. They talk about how they're special medicine that block this and block that. But the truth is they're alongside the chemotherapy medicine family. That's how strong a medicine you get. And that's just arthritis. I can go down that list, and the medicines they put you on for those problems can cause issues. Massive issues with your body. It will destroy your immune system. Most of the time, the medicines will destroy your immune system. And even the disease process of what you get can destroy your immune system. And you think, well, okay, I'm not taking this lightly when I say this. If you don't have any of these things wrong, but say you got shot or you lost a limb, okay? The stress of dealing with what you have to deal with can hurt your immune system. And not for just temporary. It can actually be a permanent problem. The neurodegenerative diseases require dozens of medications. Right. So much to put into your body. Even over-the-counter drugs can cause irreparable harm. I agree with you, Ari. This is what I'm trying to help you with. This is the reason I'm talking about this stuff. I will be bringing up herbs and vitamins and supplements. But if someone were to come up to me and say, okay, John, I have arthritis, or I have, let's go down the list, I have ankylosing, especially ankylosing spondylitis. I have celiac disease. I have chronic fatigue syndrome. I have fibromyalgia. Any of these lists, anything on this stuff, if someone were to come up to me and say, I have it, what would you recommend? I wouldn't even talk about a supplement first. The first thing I would say is get on low-dose naltrexone. Because it will actually get your body to try to heal itself, which is what supplements try to do. But this does it in a very direct manner. It goes after the sequencing that tells your body to either fight itself or heal itself. That's the reason I bring it up. And I know someone who has, I have ankylosing spondylitis, okay? I know people who have this stuff. And the first thing out of my mouth, when they say I have it, I say, are you on low-dose naltrexone? And they're like, well, no. And you go over it with them like, well, I'll get to it. And it's like, no. And then they say, well, what would you suggest as far as vitamins or stuff like that? And I said, I would get on low dose first and then supplements. I would be busting down the door of a homeopathic doctor and saying, get me on this now. Because what I know about it, after what I've gone through, I wouldn't hesitate to get on it. Exactly. Okay, Ari, that's the thing. Once you start having problems, the medications, when I was at my worst, I had over 15 medications I had to take twice a day. A handful of medicine twice a day at the age of 30. It's unbelievable. I take less than 5 now. In fact, I take 1, 2, 3 medicines at bedtime. that have to do with these things. You talk about my thyroid, that's a different thing. But for everything else but my thyroid, 3 medicines at night, none in the morning. 0. And then 1 shot twice a week. That's it. You have no idea how much of a relief that is. I used to have to take 15 medications twice a day, plus some others also at other parts of the day. That's how bad it was. Low-dose naltrexone is at 6 milligrams, and I take it at 6 milligrams. You can get it prescribed anywhere from 1.5 to 6 milligrams. They start at 1.5. They move you up until you figure out what is your dosage. Okay? It works. It has no side effects known. It's been around since 1985. They've known about it since 1985. Naltrexone itself has been around since 1959. There's no known side effects. It doesn't hurt your liver. It doesn't hurt your kidneys. It doesn't hurt your pancreas. Any of that. I wanted to bring this up because I've actually, it's something that a lot of people don't understand. People hear me talk about my alternative time, where I talk about alternatives. This is an alternative. Very few doctors prescribe it. My doctor's prescribing it I'm not going to get into it, but he prescribes it for me. Okay? Normally you have to go to a homeopathic doctor, a naturopath. Okay? Regular doctors won't prescribe it because pharmaceuticals do not like this medicine because it's cheap. It's less than $1 a pill. And it works. Like I said, I was on 15 medications. I'm not anymore. Think of all the pharmacological medicine that I no longer have to take, that the pharmacies no longer make money on me. Because I'm on something that is actually helping me. And that's right, Stephen, because they don't make money with it. This is actually in human trials at that dosage. Because it's compounded, that means it actually has to be made from the 50 milligrams. They make it down into the dosage. So it has to be made because pharmacological companies do not make it at this dosage. Yet, it is in human trials. And it is allowed to be prescribed at this dosage. Doctors won't do it because they don't want to go against the pharmacological companies. They don't want to go against them. Mine did only because of something I did. Usually, a naturopath is the only one who will prescribe it. A federal doctor cannot prescribe it. Does it work? Like I said, I've told everybody. 5.5 years ago, they said I had a couple months. And that would have been the end of it for me. I would not be here right now. This year is the first year I didn't have to take any antihistamines when I got a bug bite. I haven't had that privilege for many, many years. My pain, I talk about my pain. My pain used to be 90% worse than it is now. You have a choice. I make mine and I talk about them. I share my experience. If you want to know more, let me know. John Owl. John, John, Owl, OWL, Facebook. Look me up. I will gladly talk to you about it. You know, Stephen, I could come to Florida now. I have a little pin of Campofinique that I would put on it, and it would go away overnight. Now. Back then, no. Now, it would go away. And I can smile about it. That's what I wanted to bring to your attention. That's my 10 minutes. It's more than 10 minutes, but that's my alternative talk. Look it up. You will find that it is a lot of people know about it, but nobody of importance will talk about it. It's not expensive. I'm going to be on it the rest of my life, and I don't mind because I can do things again. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and start doing some stories. I didn't mean to get so serious, but I'm very passionate about low-dose naltrexone. A huge issue for me, from me seeing my mental health patients, is getting better. Is penalized. Some people choose to stay sick for the money. Mike, you're not wrong. The system is rigged, even with the VA system. If you get better, they immediately put you up for review, and they don't give you a say. I think if they say, okay, well, you're doing better, we're going to go ahead and give you we're going to give you X amount of time to go to college or learn a new skill, because you've gone through this, and because you have been out of, we need to get you to where you have marketable skills. We'll send you to school, be it trade or college or whatever, and then we'll go ahead and change your rating. I think that should be the way that they do it. But what do I know, right? I agree with you, Mike. That is a very sad thing that comes up. The fun part about low-dose naltrexone, they're not allowed to ask you about it federally. My doctors know I'm on it, but they're not allowed to ask me how well it's working, because it is not prescribed federally, and federally it's not recognized as a medicine. So all they're allowed to do is say, are you still on the low-dose naltrexone? And I say yes. And that's all they're allowed to ask. And do I lie to them about my pain? No, I'm always in pain, even on this. I've got permanent damage that will never go away. If I didn't have that type of situation, I would probably sit there and say, well, certain aspects of my life are doing better because of the low dose. And the minute you say because of the low dose, they have to back off because they can't recognize that medicine. The system is rigged to where it doesn't help you after it's hurt you. So that's what I would do. I would simply say, hey, you know what? The low dose is helping me in certain aspects. I'm doing better. But I'm not 100% yet. And if they asked me to define that, I said, well, then you'd have to acknowledge that I'm on low-dose naltrexone. They would have a problem with that. I believe in people getting their lives back. I didn't have much of a life. My life really got pretty bad. And now it's not. I actually can smile about my life and enjoy it. And that makes all the difference in the world. All right, let's get to some stories. Let's see. Well, I'll give you the one that Koz brought up here. Number. Ex-soldier who fled with Puma turns himself over to the police. Warsaw, a former Polish soldier who fled into a forest with his pet Puma to avoid handing it over to a zoo, gave himself up to police on Sunday after a 3-day manhunt. About 200 officers were deployed to track down the former Afghan war veteran and the big cat. The former soldier, Kamil Stenek, voluntarily turned himself over to the police in Zakowski and was later released. The Puma was transferred to the care of a zoo following the drama. We're pleased to report that the Puma, named Nubia, is surrounded by the professional care of employees at the zoo in Chozal. Keeping such dangerous animals is banned in Poland, and the man has been ordered by court to turn the animal over to a zoo. It's not a cuddly toy. It's one of the most dangerous animals in the world, and it can be a real threat to people's lives, said the zoo. Zoo workers went to Stanek's house in southern Poland on Friday, but were met with a hostile response. The Army veteran threatened them with a knife before fleeing with the Puma on a leash, according to the local media. Well, pretty kitty. Oh, kitty, 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 kitty. I know. Bad John. That's all I can say. Pretty kitty. It's not smart, but hey, nobody ever accused soldiers of being smart. We love our animals. Florida man uses $4 million in COVID relief to buy a Lamborghini. Oh boy. Florida man was arrested on multiple charges, including bank fraud, after using part of a nearly $4 million in PPP loans to buy a Lamborghini and other high-end luxury items. 29-year-old David Hines of Miami was arrested and charged with bank fraud, making false statements to a financial institution, and engaging in transactions in unlawful proceeds. According to a criminal complaint, Hines applied for nearly $13.5 million in Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP, loans for multiple companies. Fraudulent loan applications were also submitted for the company's payroll expenses. He was approved for a total of $3.9 million in loans. Wow. According to prosecutors, Hines bought the Lamborghini within days of receiving the money. Instead of using the funds for payroll as intended, the Florida man made multiple purchases of resorts and luxury retailers in Miami. When he was arrested, authorities seized the car and approximately $3.4 million. Wow. That's quite a ballsy person. I would be pissed off. We have a Florida panther in the neighborhood, which is wild animal and same species as cougar. I lost a house cat to some coyotes and neighbors, and have reported chickens lost to the panther. And that's just it. I tease about the panther, but it's no joke. Cougars, panthers, all of those, they will kill your animals. They will kill babies. If they're little enough, they're goners. They are wild, and they have to eat, and they will see anything littler than it as food. So no, I tease, but it's not a joke. It really isn't. And it's sad. I mean, because that animal, it wasn't its fault that someone decided to take him out of the zoo. Thankfully, nobody tried to kill it. They went ahead and put it back in a zoo. Deputies arrest woman accused in deadly shooting at Burger King. Why? Because her order takes too long. Some people's children. Ashley Mason allegedly said she'd go get her man when her order was taking too long. He's accused of shooting a 22-year-old employee to death. This happened in Orlando. A woman reportedly threatened to get her man when her Burger King order took too long. Deputies say her man soon showed up and shot a young employee to death. Ashley Mason, 13, was arrested Wednesday on charges of principal to first-degree murder and aggravated assault with a firearm. Mason was in the restaurant drive-thru line August 1st when its manager noticed her becoming angry over the slow service. The arrest affidavit reads, she reportedly got out of the car and started yelling, threatening to bring her husband to the restaurant. She was refunded $40 and asked to leave in an attempt to appease her. Instead, deputies say Mason was seen in the parking lot for about 5 minutes before leaving. Not long after, Mason returned along with another vehicle, a white work truck driven by 37-year-old Kelvis Rodriguez Tormes. Tormes reportedly started fighting with the Burger King employee, 22-year-old Desmond Armand Joshua Jr., and told him, "You got 2 seconds before I shoot you." The restaurant manager said he heard a gunshot and Joshua fell to the ground. The young adult started working there 2 days prior. Wow. Some people's children. That's all I got to say. They say patience is a virtue, and unfortunately, they don't teach patience anymore. They just teach instant gratification, and that's what this actually was instant gratification. It's sad. Wow. Some people's children. Whew. Bad. Stephanie Larisi, Florida woman, arrested for stealing $173,000 to pay for breast implants. Who shot the girl's boyfriend, Stephen? A Florida woman has been arrested for stealing $173,000 from her employer in order to buy herself breast implants. She must be going to one expensive surgeon. I have not heard of those surgeries being that expensive. Okay. Oh, among other luxuries. Okay. Authorities arrested Stephanie, 37, on Thursday, 1 year after her boss at Robbins camper sales in Ormond Beach noticed a discrepancy on bank statements and contacted law enforcement. Initially, the owner only noticed a missing $11,000 from a cash sale of a camper. When he approached Stephanie, who worked as the accountant for the shop, she reportedly told him she was using the money to help pay for her divorce and had intended to pay the store back. The owner then looked back over 3 years of transactions and created an Excel spreadsheet of missing funds. Meanwhile, authorities subpoenaed bank statements and other financial documents from Stephanie. In the end, authorities found $115 in money stolen from camping sales and $18,707 stolen in parts and other services. An anonymous tipster called in Crime Stoppers report that Stephanie also bragged about having a lot of cash in her home, had just bought a whole house of new furniture, and recently spent $7,000 on breast implants. Wow. Officials contacted her estranged husband, who confirmed that she had bought new furniture as well as breast augmentation, and that she had a gun safe in her house where she may be keeping the cash. Wow. I mean, wow. Some people don't get it, and this girl obviously didn't get it. That's a lot of money, people. Oh, wow. Imagine, I mean, though that's people's paychecks. That's inventory. Keeping a company alive so people can put food on the plate, food on their plates. And she has the balls to do that. Wow. Yikes, some people's children. Another man, Florida man jailed for alleged felony Slurpee battery. No joke. Florida man was jailed yesterday on a felony Slurpee battery charge, records show. Investigators allege that Brian Duffy, 40 years old, last month doused a 7-Eleven employee with the frozen treat during a 9:20 a.m. argument about the drink's price inside a store in Pinella Park. According to an arrest affidavit, a surveillance camera recorded Duffy backhanding the cup full of Slurpee drink out of the female's victim's hand. Slurpee flew onto the victim's person. You know, you're starting to see a trend here with people just not wanting instant gratification in some way, shape, or form. This is nuts. A little bit of, I don't know, ethics, manners, anything would tell someone not to do these things. Wow. That's just crazy. That's nuts. And and I'll be honest, there's another one from Florida. Here we go. Holly Hill, Florida. A 23-year-old woman accused in 2012 of having sex with a dog in Arizona was arrested Monday in Volusia County on allegations of having sex with a 15-year-old boy. This lady had sex with a dog and then decides to go on to having sex with a teenager. Oh yeah. Police said Brittany Saunier enticed the teen to perform sexual acts knowing that he was underage. Police said she was also in possession of marijuana and shared the drugs as well as alcohol with him. According to Volusia County arrest report, the teen, who stayed next door to Saunier with his father on weekends, was informed of Saunier's past arrest of bestiality. The teen admitted to having intercourse with Saunier for 2 nights and said he was concerned about contracting a venereal disease. Oh no! Police said at a later time, Saunier agreed to meet with him, disclosed that she had supplied marijuana to him, as well as being sexually active with him, knowing he was underage. Saunier was arrested and charged with lewd and lascivious battery sex act with persons less than 16 years of age and contributing to the delinquency of minor. Both felony charges. I have no words other than some people's children. Really. Bestiality. Yeah. Okay. Watch out, Florida. Drug raid in the village's retirement community nets evidence of golf cart chop shop. No joke, people. A chop shop for golf carts. 5 people are being held in Florida jail on drug-related charges in connection with a SWAT team raid in the village's retirement community that turned up evidence of possible chop shop operation of stolen golf cars. Among those arrested is Kathleen Unrath, 43, niece of ailing homeowner who was not believed to be involved in any illegal activity. Unrath who lived in the house, said she was going to take care of her uncle, but instead was allegedly running the illegal drug and chop shop business behind his back. Golf carts, many souped up, are a popular mode of transportation around the retirement community that is dotted with golf courses and has more than 150,000 residents south of Osceola, Florida. Holy cow. 150,000 residents. That's big. Okay, I can see maybe it was quite a lucrative business. 3 others were involved. Ray Paget, Charlotte Gajonski, and William Romska faced felony drug-related charges, including possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell. The 5 were being held in Sumter County Jail, awaiting hearings in early July. The deputies involved in the raid last week had obtained a search warrant after a confidential informant reported 3 alleged drug buys at the home. Wow. Deputies found windshields, seat cushions, wheels, and tires, along with other golf cart parts in the garage and attic of the home. And Stephen, I'm getting close to the end of the show. That's the only reason I did not take your show. I'm not blowing you off. So please keep that in mind. Here is a story I had to do. Attention-seeking cat won't stop lying in the road with eyes closed, pretending to be dead. A 14-year-old cat named Lolly keeps tricking her neighbors by lying in the road outside her home to fake her own death, and her owner says the bizarre prank has seen him become a local celebrity. Lolly the cat likes to lie down motionless in the road with her eyes closed and tongue hanging out, tricking motorists into thinking he has died as a result of tragic accident. Mom of 2, Leslie Southern, says her mischievous pet is simply after some concerned attention and has even created a flyer to post through letterboxes to warn others in the street about this cat's behavior. He loves attention and people. He can lay so still people will stop to check if he's alive. It's not the only prank of the 14-year-old is known to do. He often enjoys jumping into strangers' cars and making himself at home after wandering into offices. Wow, this is a smart little kitty. Oh, he's a pretty kitty though. But he likes to play dead. Oh, that is so hilarious. Can you imagine just driving along and swearing you, oh my God, a dead kitty. You go out there and it just sits there, and the minute you touch it, oh, meow, meow, meow. It's like, oh my God, what is wrong with this thing? That's warped. Oh, things that make you go, All right, everybody. We are actually at the top of the hour. We do have some house cleaning to do. Tomorrow, 10th of August, we have Vice President candidate Spike Cohen of the Libertarian Party. Libertarian Vice Presidential candidate Spike Cohen will be on the show to talk about the 2020 presidential campaign with his running mate, Jean Johansson. Yes. On the 11th of August, Tuesday, we have Carrie Kissel, filmmaker, graphic artist, writer, blogger, and illustrator. It's either Jerry or Gary Kissel will be on the show to talk about his latest works. He is the official cover artist for Warrior Publishing. Army veteran Gary was an Army combat medic during the First Gulf War with the medic platoon HHC, 1st of the 170th Infantry Regular, 29th Infantry Division Light, Fort A.P. Hill, and later the 308th Med Ambulance out of McClellan, Air Force Base. All right, everybody. We have shows. Monday, we have the Monday night edition with Ice and Flash. Tuesday, we have Pop Culture Wear with CQ and Radar. Wednesdays are our meditation or Donza days, and Thursdays are Sergeant's Time with Ice and Spanking. And, of course, you have Sundays, which is Kicking It with Koz. You have Koz, and you have Owl, which is me. All right, everybody. It's that time. Everybody, you have a good week. Remember, it's just one moment in time. Things will get better, and you will move on. Remember to keep it simple, keep it real, and remember to smile. Just because you don't know who's watching, including your own self. All right. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you being here. Love every one of you. And we will see you next week. Take care, and we will see you then.
I'm down, down, down to nothing. Feeling alone. I'm lost, lost, lost without you. Since you've been gone, checked my phone too many times. Played your voice inside my head. Can't dream at night when you're not in my bed. Tossing and turning, burning, yearning for your love. Don't think I don't know where you lie. Don't think you know where I hide. I see you, I see her, I see everything. I see the ugly truth in my dream. You're up to something and leaving a mess. I read those letters where you confess. Checked your phone too many times. Played her voice inside my head. Can't dream at night when she's there in your bed. Tossing and turning, burning, yearning for her love. Don't think I don't know where you lie. Don't think you know where I hide. I see you, I see her, I see everything. I see the ugly truth in my dream. Don't think I don't know where you lie. Don't think you know where I hide. I see you, I see her, I see everything. I see the ugly truth in my dream. Dream on, 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 dream on. Don't think I don't know where you lie. Don't think you know where I hide. I see you, I see her, I see everything. I see the ugly truth in my dream. Don't think I don't know where you lie. Don't think you know where I hide. I see you, I see her, I see everything. I see the ugly truth in my dream.
WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.